But ibambe kancane mfundisi, ibambe kancane. Ufuna ukungitshela ukuthi amadoda emshadweni bayashaywa.
Ayahlupheka amadoda.
You are telling me ukuthi there are guys who are being beaten by their women.
There are guys who have been beaten. There are guys that they experience serious violence.
Yeah. Our own police officers are not trained well enough to deal with the man who's coming to report gender-based violence.
Yes, and then it goes beyond the police officers now. It is a societal matter. This includes when you are with other men, that even other men would not, even those men who speak to you, they might be suffering the same. But when they speak to you, they say, "Uyindoda enjani kanti wena?"
Meanwhile, nabo.
Kanti nabo bayashaywa, ne? They have been beaten.
Welcome to Insightful Exchange. Ziyabuya. Somebody send us a WhatsApp party, guys. Kuyababa. Uti your conversations are hitting the nerve. I love it. I love it because here we deliberate on matters that really affect families in the country, and we want to see if we cannot get into your house, into your life, and try to help you to resolve the issues that you are facing. So today, we are having such a lovely topic that you're going to love, and probably you need to go grab your man, sit down with him so that he can hear that today we're talking about a matter that will touch his heart, his soul, and his every being. Today we're talking gender-based violence, but I want to narrow it down to intimate partner violence. Mr. Lems, I know that you are the right person to help me deal with this matter. I want us to talk about intimate partner violence. How are you?
I'm good, man.
And how have you been?
I've been good.
I
And
see
yourself?
you're getting a lot of messages. People are telling you that your episodes are hitting hard.
Yes, people like us, man.
Yeah?
I don't know if they like us or what we're talking about.
It's your content.
So
It's your content. I think you're giving the relevant content, Lems, that is helping families to reflect and say, we need to do something about our circumstances.
yes, and I think what is good with our conversations here, that as my church men, these are conversations that we run away from. From on the pulpit, we don't talk about. In our gatherings, we don't talk about. And I think they created that now, in open conversations that as well, different churches can start to talk about this. And the topic you are bringing today, man, it's on the nerve.
Yeah. Look, and I'm very specific. We need to differentiate between GBV and IPV. It's same thing, but the difficulty with GBV is that the statistics that you have, obviously cover the whole spectrum of gender-based violence, meaning violence perpetrated against women in relationships and against women out there with people that they're not involved with. But the stats are telling us that 1 in 3 women will obviously experience gender-based violence in our country. But then, remember, these are reported statistics.
Yes.
And then we have another stats that says 1 in 8 men are experiencing gender-based violence from their partners. We need to bear in mind that men don't usually report cases of gender-based violence. A lot has been spoken about violence against women. And as much as I want us to touch a bit on it, but I want us to focus on this particular violence that is not spoken about, where men find themselves, becoming the victims of gender-based violence. And I don't know if that is happening, but obviously the stats are there. And maybe you can help me to unpack this matter, because there are men out there that are listening to this podcast. And they are feeling like maybe they are weak, or they have lost, or they are losers, or they are nobodies, or they want to escape from the situation. They don't know how. They also don't know that there are other men out there that are going through such, an act or victimization. So I want this episode to help them, to heal them, and to make them realize that they have the power to rise above the scourge of gender-based violence. Let's talk about that.
Yes, your introduction has created a good scope, of course, and then what we are dealing with here is that in a general sense, and then also in our community, whenever the reference of a gender-based violence is made, is actually women-based violence, because women, they are at the center of it as the victims,
Yes.
if you may. And our community does not come to say, but the other gender as well actually experience more violence, if we can put it in that way.
But ibambe kancane mfundisi, ibambe kancane. Ufuna ukungitshela ukuthi amadoda emshadweni bayashayiwa.
Ayahlupheka amadoda.
You are telling me ukuthi there are guys who are being beaten by their women.
There are guys who have been beaten. There are guys that they experience serious violence.
Yeah.
In their
at the hands
relationships.
of their partners.
In the hands of their partners.
I know, unpack that.
And they are unable to respond.
Yes.
And there are different reasons probably why they are unable to respond. And probably there will be few things that which we can bring to say some men that they are unable to respond even to report, as you have indicated, to say when we look into the stats, you find that the statistics are not telling us the reality because stats are based on what is being reported.
Yeah.
But there are many men that which never report. And then as a result of that, or what makes that to happen, we have heard previously that some men, whenever they go and report the violence that which has been extended towards them by their intimate partners or their loved ones or their wives, if you may, that when they get to the police stations, they are not attended to.
Yo.
And they are laughed at. I think even when they are with other men, people would say, but you are the man.
Yeah.
Why such could happen? So now there is that kind of a stigma.
So there's a perception that because you're a man, there's no way that you should be abused by a woman. And even you mentioned that the police, when you get there, they laugh at you. So for them, it's a matter of, why don't you beat the back? Or what would be the reason for them to laugh at you?
That is basically the statement. If a police officer laughs at you as a man going to report, what do they say to you? Indirectly they say, as a man, how can this happen? It's like they are promoting the same to say, eye for an eye.
Yeah. So are you also telling me that the inability of the cops to comprehend the extent of the situation could also be perpetrating or contributing to the increase of violence against women? Because if this man is sitting here saying, how umfazi sengishayile, and they laugh at him, they say, kanjani, they are saying, hamba yoshayela nawe.
Yes.
So could that be a problem that we're sitting within the system, that our own police officers are not trained well enough to deal with the man who's coming to report gender-based violence?
Yes, and then it goes beyond the police officers now. It is a societal matter. This includes when you are with other men, that even other men would not, even those men who speak to you, they might be suffering the same. But when they speak to you, they say, "Uyindoda enjani kanti wena?"
Meanwhile, nabo.
Kanti nabo bayashayiwa, ne? They have been beaten or probably sometimes is not that physical. Some they are thrown by waters and then something. So there is a lot of violence. If you can unpack piece by piece, the violence that which happens against men. But now what you are bringing is that for the fact that when I go to the police officers and report my case, I am not taken into recognition or in cognizance in terms of that. And then that then perpetuate that other men, they say, let me fight back as well. But now the problem is that when you come and fight back as a man, the officers, they are there. in a minute.
They're quick to come and arrest you.
Yeah, and then they don't ask questions. But
Yeah.
uzakhuluma phambili ndoda.
Ushayele umfazi.
Yes.
But also it reminds me of how we were raised, Babulams, because remember when you went home and the other guy has beaten you up in the street, and you get home and crying, and even your mother or your father would say, "Hamba yoshayela." So they were teaching us that if somebody beats you up, you must beat them back. So could that be the reason why also when this man, knowing very well that when I get there, they're going to laugh at me anyway. So let me beat her up. And not because she goes there, they take her serious. So could that not be also a problem whereby we were raised, to beat our women back in defense for our own position?
Yes, that is one other factor that which you will find why there will be those men who would beat up women. So we dealt it to say because of the lack of assistance from those who are in authority. So it also perpetuates that. And then number two, as you have brought it up, to say you grow up as a man in an environment where violence is promoted, for instance, to say, okay, you cannot come here and be beaten. Go and fight for yourself. And that would normally be done whenever it is with the boys, and it will be understood. But we find there's those cases where a boy comes and cry and then show the girl next door to say, that girl, yeah, ushawa intombazana wena, hey ungazongihlolela buyela. And that now this child grows up to saying, I cannot be beaten by a woman.
Yes.
I have to fight back. I cannot be beaten by a woman. And then you find that. But also another part, I know we have dealt with the matters of trauma. The other part that which makes other men to beat up their women is the trauma of their abusive mother. That as they were growing up, you find that this mother was abusive to them, but they were unable to respond. And then now when they are in the relationship, their first response is to say, you are not my mother. And then if you do anything, then I beat you up. So these are the things that in a man that which has undergone such a trauma and never dealt with the trauma, then will find himself then also beating up the woman that which he claims he loves.
You're mentioning the issue of the mother here. And the moment you speak, I'm trying to imagine my own mother, but I'm imagining a whole lot of other mothers out there. I'm imagining our wives. I'm imagining a whole lot of women that I've came across. I cannot put a woman who beats the husband to any of these women. So in essence, if you were to ask me, how does a woman batterer look like? I'll find it difficult to explain to you because they look innocent, they look harmless, they look like indeed they're the ones who are suffering at the hands of men. And I mean, I'm trying to imagine a big woman who would beat a small man like me. But that woman doesn't come in the picture because I'm so exposed to a whole lot of average women. I mean, number one, what kind of women do that? That's number one. Number two, is this a new trend of women beating up men, or has this trend been, going on for centuries or for a long time, and we were never aware of it? What's your take there?
Yeah, let's look at this in this way. To say here are two genders, and then we know that men are kind of physical. And the society, whenever it judges the gender-based violence, they judge the end results to say who acted last. And then who acted last, you find now, is a man. And then the man...
And who also reported.
Yeah. And then even if probably sometimes he has not reported, I want to bring something to say, even if probably has not reported probably to the legal system, but probably to the friends and so on, and then cry, nobody heard the cry. And then when now it becomes physical, because it's more easier for men to be physical. It's more easier because of how they are built up. But now the society, what it does not look, it is the source of that violence. To say, where is this violence coming from? Look, some women, or to the greater extent, they would not probably be physical in their violence, but they will be verbal in their violence. And many men are suffering verbal violence. And men cannot stand verbal violence because in the tongue of most women, it's swords, it's spears. They cut deep. It's insults.
And they know what to say.
And they know what
to say.
And then without an end. And if you and now the thing is, men cannot compete with that. Cannot compete with that kind of violence. And then the society do not look into this verbal violence, into saying, because the truth is, the society looks into the physical wounds. Look, we do not promote that violence, any kind of violence. But the society is interested into the physical wounds, that you are beaten. And then we can see you are bleeding.
We've got evidence. So you're telling me that women are actually smart in terms of how they met out violence, because it's difficult, number one, to put forward evidence of emotional abuse and verbal abuse. So this is well crafted. Is that what you're telling me?
It's well crafted. And then they use their strength. Remember, that is in their strength in terms of the makeup and how women are created. They've got more vocabulary, of course. They've got more emotions, and then men on the other side, they've got more masculinity, more physical strength, more rationality. So a man will want to rationalize what this woman is saying, but cannot find rationality in it. And then this woman, by the use of words, many men are bleeding inside, are broken, are torn into pieces with the words that which their women have spoken to them.
Funis, are we able to give our viewers an example of such words? I mean, I'm starting to think here, what kind of words would break a man to that point? I mean, you're explaining this very fervently, that, these words are so sharp that they can tear this man apart, And maybe just to give an idea, and while you are giving me that, do women know that they are verbal abusers? Do they know that? Can they say to themselves, I am a verbal abuser? I'm abusing this man verbally, and I'm aware of it, that the only way to beat him down is if I open my mouth. Are they aware of that?
Let me bring as you bring that, your question is quite very tricky. Number one, we will say they are aware, those who are normal in their mental processes. Otherwise, they will need to be admitted. So they become aware of what they are doing. Some, they will be very much happy in that, because some actually, there is a pain inside of them that which they are releasing towards you. That is, they are fully aware that they need to crush your heart. They need to crush your life. They need to destroy you in however. Sometimes it could be something that which both of you sometime you never agreed on. You wanted an example. Let me give you the situation. How this turns out. This turns out in this way. It turns out in this way that maybe as a man, firstly, you'll observe that probably there is something that your woman have done. Then you are not happy about that, and then it's wrong. And then you bring it forth. Then calmly so, wanting the solution to say we should work this out. But now, these women, I look at them as very toxic women, because this now becomes their disposition, basically, in terms of how they deal with whatever you are bringing as a solution. You bring a solution, or you bring a matter that needs to be thought through, digested, and the situation that needs to be resolved. The woman, what then would do, will either, if it's a matter that concerns her, will deny it, to say, I did not do that. And then will redirect, will make a redirection. And the redirection, that's where violence starts.
Yeah.
Then when she redirects you, she wants to turn herself a victim.
Yeah.
She wants to turn herself a victim by leaving the matter of concern, to say, this is the matter of concern. But then we leave that and pinpoint something not relevant of this. A matter that was long buried. And then we'll bring it, because that matter that which was long buried, it concerns you. So that now she wants you to start now to be kind of a perpetrator, to say you are the one that perpetrated this. And then now she has taken the victim position.
Yeah.
And then that's where violence comes. When she takes that matter or any other matter that which is around, sometimes it's the matters that which you do not know, but will bring it alive.
Yes.
And then as a matter of violence, then when those matters are brought, they come in a very violent way. Now it's a fight. It's you. Look what to do.
And then
Look
she tells you you are insecure.
Yes.
You need to deal with your insecurities.
Yes.
You are not a man enough.
Uh-huh.
And she tells you all these words, and you're sitting there listening, and you're even confused. How did we even get here? Because I was trying to address an issue with this woman, and now she's now the victim, I'm the perpetrator.
Now you're a perpetrator.
Yeah.
And then now we're dealing with this bottle. We say, this is the matter. This is the bottle. But now the matter change. It attacks your personality,
Yes.
your person.
Character assassination.
Character assassination. You are torn into pieces.
You don't even love my family.
You don't even love my family. Usife.
Yes.
You know all those
Yes.
things. And then those become the words.
They remind you of your transgressions that you did 20 years ago. Yeah.
That is why we when we advise to them, and this is very much key. We know that we all have done this mistake. The mistake that which as men have done, that which we supposed never to do again. And then any man that has not do this mistake, don't do it. To say, if you've got problems, find professionals. Talk to them.
Hey, we are too someone fundis.
Talk to them.
Hey.
If there is a matter in your life that which needs attention, don't talk to your wife. Find a professional, find a counselor, find a pastor. Because if you tell your wife, I'm telling you, it will rain on you sometime.
She puts it in the bank.
She puts it in the bank.
It accumulates interest. And she waits for the right day to go withdraw.
You won't see the sunrise.
And when she withdraws, that it's no longer the way you put it. It has got interest.
It has interest.
You know what? Why I get you young too, son? I'm sitting here wondering, because it looks like most of us have experienced that.
Yes.
You know, and I mean, I speak to a whole lot of men who come up with situations like that. That's, look, I was trying to address the fact that she came home late. And then now I was told all sorts of things, how insecure I am, what a useless man I am, how I can't provide for the family, how I did not do this, I did not do that, how I did not finish my matric and so forth. And
look,
I mean,
look how it comes. Sorry to
Yes.
cut you. Look how it comes. You address the matter to say, you have come late today. Why? And then look at the attack. Unahana kisifebe ska wena.
yeah, yo.
Without isifebe njengawe. Isugile. So now it's a wildfire. And then that is why Most men, you know, when I was growing up, I grew up in an environment where the people, many men in our area would sit outside till very late. I was wondering why these men are sitting outside alone.
Yeah.
Unekaya, there's go out, but he's sitting outside till late.
Yeah.
I was asking myself until I matured.
Yes.
And then now I'm
Now
old.
you're sitting outside. I'm chewing.
Now,
I know, but telling you straight.
because in the house there are matters.
Yes.
That which you cannot handle. Remember now the sitting outside of many men is remaining in the bus. They go in the bar. They comes home. If he's driving,
When
he comes
it's
home.
safe. When everybody's sleepy.
Yes, and makafika endlini uthola ukuthi he parks the car, he stays in the car,
garage.
even sleep there.
Hi,
Then will come
Mfundisi.
in quite very late.
You are
in the
worrying me,
house.
Mfundisi, because you know why I say you are worrying me? This trend is rife. We hear these stories every day. We talk to men who tell us that. We see them driving. I've seen guys who drive around, just park at the garage.
Yes.
And you go talk to them, hey, man, why are you sitting here? Hey, man, I dread going home. I mean, and that's why we find a whole lot of guys being involved in accidents late at night.
Yes.
Not because they don't want to go home, but they are pushing time for the next day to come quicker. Because when they go home, they are going to find a lion waiting for them to devour them.
And look, it's a non-stop violence. It's a non-stop war.
It's perpetual.
Yeah, it does not matter what you do. That is, touch is a move. Anything you do, anything you say, it becomes violence.
So you're walking on eggshells in your house.
Yeah. Jane, you are eating, then probably you are this kind that which has a strong teeth. Oh, abakuphanga ukudla la uvela khona. Abawufa dijo mo
Hey, put this. How so? Yeah.
And then the following day, you try to say, okay, I must eat quite.
So you're even being treated like a child in your own home.
You are becoming a child. Basically, you are becoming a child. Basically, you are a child.
But Mfundisi, let me ask you a question quickly. And I'm asking you this because I recently wrote this book. It's called Unveiling the Veil.
Yes.
And as much as this book, it's a positive book in terms of helping women to be aware of these particular behaviors so that we can save marriages. There are a whole lot of women, and that's why I asked you earlier, do they know that this is some kind of abuse? Because I'm listening to that about panga kudala for we are called. It sounds innocent. No, it sounds innocent.
Yes.
But this man is sitting there. Huh? No, say Vala, but this man is sitting there. Is so broken by such statements. But we've got a woman who's going to repeat the statements.
Yes.
Tomorrow again. And keep crushing this man to a level where this man becomes nothing.
Yes.
To a point that when he looks at himself, he does not see himself as being worthy of being a leader in his own home.
Yes.
And this woman says, but why are you sensitive? Why? I mean, the way you are eating, I mean, can't you see yourself? And they pride themselves in, they know me, I'm a straight talker. That's why even tomorrow when there's an issue, a peasant boasts by saying, no, now an issue, they know I'm stop nonsense, And here's this guy listening to all this and saying, even in my own home, I can't even say anything.
Sure.
Because anything that I say will be used against me. But what also concerns me is that then the very same woman start to complain that I'm not getting affection from you. But how do you love that which rejects and tarnishes and destroys you? How will this man be able to give love to this woman who has made an effort to go out of her own way to create nothing out of this man?
Yeah, that's a painful part. Look, when men withdraw, they completely withdraw.
It's done.
Once a man withdraw, you know that it's over. Because of that, to say, because now this woman looks at your behavior to say, as a man, you have withdrawn. There's no attachment, that which I get from you. There is no love. There is nothing. There is no kind words I'm getting from you. But they do not check that they were the perpetrators of that. That they are the ones that have brought violence and have broken your heart so much and crushed you that this man, when he looks at you, he no longer sees a companion. He sees basically an animal. And then some will even say, "Ngihlala nenyoka lapha endlini." And then in a reality, that's what they would be seeing in you, because you are always biting at this man. And there are many women, of course, who are at that space where their actions, in terms of how they became violent against their men withdrew. And when a man withdraws, listen, the man withdraws.
It's game over.
Because men are able to stay alone. They are able. That is why I gave you that scenario to say there are men, as we grow up, that which will be out of the house. When they come, they are out of the house. When the food is brought by the children, we'll get them out. When they get into the house, it's when they go to sleep, because they are able to do that. And there is many men. Some they don't go out and sit outside as in this, but they are in the house. But when you look at them, you realize this person is not here.
Does it now explain why? And I mean, it doesn't make sense to me. Well, it didn't make sense to me until I got married, that you find men saying they need a man cave in the house. Why would a married man need a man cave? And you listen to the cave aspect. And as much as, the term could be used to denote or to mean something else, but the fact that there's a cave in it, this man says, let me go back to my natural instinct.
Yes.
Where the original man used to live, in a cave, where there was peace, where there was harmony. So instead of me finding myself in the streets doing whatever, let me be in the house with them, but I will discard them and go to my inner peace space, which is my man cave. Could that be the reason for that?
That is the reason. Look, the scripture also says that. The Bible says it is better for a man to stay on the roof of the house. And then because men crave for peace. Men crave for peace. And people wonder many times to say, you find it that this man would leave his house and go and stay in the shack somewhere. But why this man have left his beautiful house and stay there? Because probably he has found a lady there that gives him peace.
But I want to ask you a question.
But look, what I'm saying here, it's not what we are promoting to say there should be that.
Yeah.
But we say that's a reality.
No, but you are chasing him away.
You are chasing him away.
Yeah, I mean, and I'm very careful here, because that woman as well could just turn out to be like the other woman once she gets what she wants. I mean, she could be luring him so that, once you get married to me, I'll take care of you. Meanwhile, she will become exactly that which he ran away from. So it's not always a solution. So we need to caution men against that. But the question I want to ask you, Babumfundis, is that this thing is happening.
Yeah.
I mean, you're talking about it. I'm aware of it. How come the society is not addressing it? How come when these women go and have all these women conferences, these high teas, and even in church, how come the women in church during their conference don't start and say, guys, we are guilty as well of breaking our marriages. We are guilty of breaking our men. How come we never hear of such thing? How come the radio does not speak about such violence? How come on TV we don't see such violence perpetrated against men? What is the reason for that?
It's political and it's money. there is, look, man, if you want to make money, me and you, we can make it overnight by being the activist of gender-based violence, but being the voice of the women, that which are beaten by
their husband.
And then the reason the society is quiet is because there is a money that which is released in tarnishing the dignity of a man.
So there's a concerted effort to tarnish the dignity of a man.
Yes.
But also, I think what I've also noticed as well, you're raising a very good point about people are hiding behind money because it's a business. They can use this tag to say, these men are trash, these men are this, we're protecting our women. But also for me, is to also peddle this narrative of a woman becoming a permanent victim. In doing that, it will be difficult for them to say, we are actually no longer victims here. We have another victim here. But the moment we speak about that victim, our power will be taken away from us. We shall never again use this weapon that we've got, which is our tongue, against this man. And therefore, we're going to be held responsible. We don't want that. Because what I'm gathering from this is that we are not also holding women accountable.
We don't. There are elements of fear as well in the society. Most of the time, even in the church environment, when other women, even if they can see that this woman is out of order, but they will say, "Ubani ozakhuluma naye? Who will speak with her?"
Yes. Nobody wants to go there.
Nobody wants to, because they know that once you bring something, hell will break loose. This becomes, because you find those characters that are extreme, those women that you cannot correct them, you cannot bring them on the table. Once you bring an element in their lives of an era, they fight you so much. And you find that could be the other reason why even in the conferences these matters are not raised.
But don't you think they're also protecting each other?
Also protecting each
because
other.
they're also afraid to say, if I spill the beans, they know. I mean, they know their secrets. They know each other's secrets. And remember, the problem with the moment they speak, they're only not speaking amongst themselves. They're also going to tell us, Guti, we know what your wife is doing. By speaking out against the behavior of that woman, it might create problems for all the women. Sure. So the best thing maybe is to say, let's protect her. And I think that's what creates problems because, and you know, we're going to speak about the other things that women do out there. And in fact, you saw the subtitle of the book is that the things that women do to men in relationships, which is, there's a lot of these things, but we are not addressing them. And my biggest concern, Fundis, is that we dealt with issues of absent fathers, you know, earlier on.
Yes.
And what if the majority of these fathers, and I'm not saying that's what's happening, but what if the majority of these fathers are also driven away by this verbal abuse that you are speaking about? That this man cannot live with this woman to a point that it's best for them to leave. What if we are, because once you start to look at absent fathers, we are not dealing with the core.
Yes.
Which is this women who are chasing their men away. We are only shouting absent fathers, but we are not solving the problem.
Yes.
So I think for me, this problem becomes a bit intricate. It becomes also pervasive because it extends. I've seen, I had a guy making a point on Facebook and he said, one day I went to visit my girlfriend and I intended to marry her. But I saw how her mother treated her father.
Sure.
And I called it off. Because why? It extends to the daughters.
Yes.
This is how our wives are treating us this way because they saw their mothers treating their fathers in that way. Aren't we having a very huge problem here from this?
Yes, it is. It's a huge problem, and someone has to arrest it. There should be a generation that which puts a stop into this. And that's a fact that which you have brought to say some of the fathers, they have left their families, they have left their children in however, either in marriage or pre-marriage, however that is, as a result of such an abuse, as a result of such violence that which was shown unto them. by the mother of their children or of the child, that the thoughts that which came through the mouth. Because look, the truth is, words are sharper than any sword. Words can destroy a person completely. A person can be mentally disturbed through words.
Yeah.
And there are lot of women that their tongue is never tamed.
Yeah.
That they don't care. Basically, there is no care, because some they will say that's how things are. So they'll hide to say, but am I telling that? Am I wrong?
That's how it is.
That's how it is.
I tell it as it is.
Yeah, I tell it as it is.
Yeah.
But look, we were dealing with, why did you come late today?
Yeah. There was no other issue.
There were no other issues.
You came late. We are addressing your late coming.
Yes.
Suddenly, I'm being told the way is favoring alcohol.
Yes. And then suddenly my family is dragged also in
your mother
here.
this.
Yeah,
your mother did
this.
this.
Your father this. Your siblings this. And all of this. You are this.
And there's one thing that they say, no wonder your father left you.
Sure.
You know? And this guy sitting there wondering, yes, it's this woman. And they just don't even know how to deal with it. But there's another aspect here, Mfundis, that I need you to help me with. And there's a guy who says, you know, Elijah, I was hustling. So now and again, I would buy my child clothes from Pep store to go give to my baby mama. And this woman would throw me with these clothes, telling me that, who do you think I am? My child doesn't wear clothes from Pep store. Take your cheap clothes and shove them somewhere. And this guy says, you know, it was my last money.
Sure.
And I was told that I cannot bring cheap skates for the child, my own child for that matter. In fact, I was even barred from seeing this
and
child.
the society don't see that as a violence.
Yeah.
They see the hand that is raised as a violence, but they don't see that act as an act of serious violence.
And what is it? Tell me about, take me through it. And I want you to imagine it. I want you to just put yourself in that man's shoes. I want you to tell me, what did that act do to that man? He is so excited. I can imagine seeing him in Pep store picking up these clothes, saying to the shop assistants, you know, I'm buying this for my son. You know, he's going to be so happy when he see me coming with these things. And he's so excited and, you know, with his chest, you know, lifted up, going out of the store, going straight to the girlfriend's house to say, here are the plastics for the child. And the very same plastics are thrown back at him. He's told that he's a loser. His child will never wear clothes from Pep. I want you to tell me what's going on with him in his mind.
Yeah. This man would of course go on depression. This will lead him into depression, and then because of the energy he has put to get that money, the sweats, and then to go and say, I love my child. Probably this man wanted the best of this child. Let's hypothetically say this man comes from the background where his father was never there. But he says, I want to be there for my
this child. Ish.
And then now when he tries to be there for the child, he finds this woman who throws away his efforts.
Yeah. So basically, she's not throwing away the clothes. She's throwing away this man's sweat, this man's effort, this man's love for the child.
For the child.
Yeah.
And this man's future. And then now you end up this man will start to make conversations to say, I'm no longer going to be serious with any woman in my life. And then now you start to find this man now become a womanizer because he's still broken. He has not found healing. And then you find now this man now no longer care about the child, his child. And then the child grows up, he's told all the lies. Because the truth is, many children have grown up with the lies from their mothers about their fathers. And they never come to know the truth of their fathers. And then now they grow up. Now look, now this mother, remember this, the tongue of the mother now has gone to destroy the child. Because in fact, now it's not that man only destroyed. The child
As well.
also is destroyed.
Because he has to live with this life for the rest of his life.
Yes. And then at times, the worst part of this at times is that when that act of bringing clothes and those clothes are thrown away happens in the presence of the child. And then now the pain continues. The child also gets affected.
Now, tell me about this situation here, where now this man is now being compared to other men. And he tries his best to do the best for his family. But now and again, he's compared to that man and that man, and that man is better, he's not better. But he hears this every day. You know, look at those guys, they are driving nice cars. Hey, Reina, hey, o ka re motho ha na monna.
Yeah. Basadi ba bang ba tsibile o nyala.
Yes. But problems, you know, it's. I think what I'm feeling pain now that we are laughing about it.
Yeah.
You know, and we actually laugh about this even in certain external spaces because they sound like jokes.
Yeah, but they are real.
And that's why the rate of suicide amongst men is so high. We don't know why these men are killing themselves. We hear that it's depression. It's not depression. It is that this man has been reduced to nothing, that he realized there's nothing left for him to live.
Someone has cut him into pieces.
Someone has cut him into pieces. But what also concerns me is that this cutting is not a once-off act. It's a continuation of something that has been plotted deliberately to destroy the male figure. And I think what we are also not being cautious of here is that the Bible speaks about the serpent and the woman becoming enemies. And the Bible speaks about the woman being deceived at the beginning.
Yeah.
That are these women not being deceived to destroy the kings that are men in their life, that the family structure ends up with nothing and nobody?
Yo, man, you're bringing another element now. This is a high scale that which you are bringing to say many men. I want to bring it in this way, especially those that which have some positive influence in the society. That this man will have the woman who listens to the voice of the serpent.
Yes.
To disrupt and to destroy that which you're supposed to do in the society, and to assassinate your character to the level that even the society should not see you, the good person that which you are, because they would have torn you apart. Look at the story of Samson and Delilah. That Delilah is here. She's hearing the voice of others to say, we need to destroy this man. And then this is the case. Many men are destroyed. Many men, it does not matter either you are a pastor, you're a business person, you are in politics. Satan is able to whisper in the ears of some woman, that which probably you are in love with or you are married to. And you find it that they are unable, like in the story that which you have brought of Eve and serpent. Now, they are unable to resist the voice of the serpent. And then they will come and deal with you. And then this is the case. This is what is happening, of course. And it's painful as we speak of it, because it's a reality that which is over there. To say most women, it comes sometimes, what we need to understand is that sometimes the enemy, Satan, will not always probably give you whispering in terms in your ears, but in your heart, in your emotions, and make you to exaggerate a particular pain, a particular failure, probably. A mistake. Look, we are humans. Sometimes we do mistakes. There could be a mistake that your husband have done sometime.
But you magnify it.
You magnify
To
it.
have something against him.
To have something against him. And that is why
Sure.
that is why I say
Umele
that,
bambara.
that's why I said that mistake, as long as you live, that woman will keep on bringing it up. She might not say it head on all the time, but the actions refer back to that.
You know, it's for the first time in my life I am lost for words. It's it's scary.
Very.
Why is it scary that why are we not even having sermons addressing women? Because we are also afraid that the churches will be empty. It starts to look for me or to me that women don't want to be told.
Yeah. Look. The other thing there in the society, there is a fear of a woman.
A very subtle fear.
Yes.
That's why she's always promoted.
There is a fear.
It's Mother's Day.
Yeah.
Well, it was Mother's Day now, and all these women now are praised. Come 9 August, the women are praised. And they are taken out, pampered with gifts and everything else. But on the day where there's Father's Day, there's excuses. So men are not in the society where men should be uplifted. They are not.
They are not.
Instead, it is the women that are uplifted all the time. And when we speak about this, the feminist movement come and say, but for a very long time, men had privileges. But we are living in a society that's decaying.
Yes.
Forget about those privileges. Our moral compass is broken.
Is broken. And for us, what we say in a greater scale, when we make analysis, is that for us to deal with the hand of a man, because that comes later, for us to deal with the hand of the man that beats the woman, we must deal with the mouth of a woman first. We must deal with the tongue of a woman first.
Yeah.
Once we deal with that, a man will not raise a hand.
I know. Like I said, it's for the first time in my life I'm lost for words. We need to first deal with the tongue of a woman before we can deal with the hand of a man. Viewers, this I'm leaving it to your own discretion. Make up your mind. If we are not going to address issues and things that are perpetrated by women against men, we are not going to win the fight against gender-based violence. We are not saying these things to vilify women. We are wanting to help for those women who unknowingly perpetrate violence against their men. If you are that woman, reach out to us. Let's help you. Look at yourself, do some introspection, and be honest with yourself and say, I am a verbal abuser. I need to do something about it. Don't go out there boasting about it. We love you. We want to help you. We love your family. We want to save your marriage. May God bless you. Shalom.
Amen.
Yo.